one of the worst things that can happen when you're taking a photo is you get that errant person or that crisp packet. You've waited there hours and hours and hours. You thought you've got minutes or seconds even to take that photo, and then suddenly crisp packet blows into shot, or somebody walks across the side of the frame, you know, either side, one side or the other, and you've got something in shot that you just think, oh, why could you not just see that I'm taking a photo and stay out of frame long enough for me to just take it? I had 10 seconds to take this photo. Suddenly, I've got stuff in it. It's not really a problem because we've always had Photoshop and we've always been able to just sort of touch stuff out or scrub things out here, there and everywhere. But there are easier ways to do it, and Photoshop is becoming more and more and more powerful each and every day. And each and every iteration that comes along, a new feature comes along. We've had Clone Stamp Tool, then we've got Content Aware, and there are new things that Content Aware can do. And that is what I want to show you today. Just one new thing that Content Aware, one new trick, an amazing trick that makes Content Aware's job easier, but also gives you a helping hand immediately, and makes it much more simple for you to get a starting point for editing out that thing in your photo. So let's jump into Photoshop and let's have a look at that now. Okay, so now we're in Photoshop. We've got this guy who's sat here and he's just basically in shot, and we really don't want him in there. So there are a couple of different ways we could do that. We could go up to Clone Stamp Tool, which is sort of the usual sort of everyday thing that people will do. Go up there and then hit Alt and then start to gently try and remove this guy from this photo. But in doing so, we're also going to end up with lots of things that look sort of like the Clone Stamp Tool's been used. So you can see it's not quite right, it doesn't quite look right, and it sort of just doesn't do what you want it to do in this instance. There are a few different ways of doing it, but we could use the Content Aware fill, and we could try and sort of get rid of this guy via this if we could, and then if it'll work away, it'll try its very best to try and get rid of it, but you can still see there is still a little bit of stuff in his backpack and what have you there. So there is another way of doing it, and the other way of doing it is to we can use either the lasso tool or we can use the marquee tool. In this case, I'm going to use the lasso tool, and I'm just going to draw around this guy like so. I'm just going to quickly draw. It doesn't have to be particularly pretty. We're not talking about something here that you're trying to mask out an entire thing and it's going to be down to the wire. We just want to get a little bit of a selection. And once we've got those green ants, those marching ants, so let's just zoom in so you can see. We've got those green marching ants around the edge of our guy. I'm going to go up to Edit. I'm going to go to Content Aware Fill, and that's going to bring up a different dialog box. Now, as you can see, it's already, from this section here, it's already tried its very best to make out and get rid of our man straight away. It's immediately done that. And the reason for that is we've got this system here, look, and we've got all this green box around him. We've got everything that we could need to do here. So let's just reduce this to 30%. And try 30%, not 3000%. So what we've got is we've got this green box around this guy, and we've just got this man here selecting that one particular piece. Now we've also got, as you can see, we've got the eraser tool already selected. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell the Content Aware tool what we want it to look for when we're replacing our man. So I don't want it to look at the car, because what's the point in looking at the car? I don't want any pieces of car on him. So you can see from down in the bottom here, it's working away, and it's going to alter that image to as best it possibly can to make sure that we get as much in as possible. As you can see up in this top corner here, it's trying its best to try and get rid of everything we possibly can get rid of. We don't need to get rid of any. We don't need any of this, so we can further make Content Aware's job easier for us by getting rid of some of that. We don't really need any of that either. And we can see what results it's going to leave us here. Now there's always going to be a little bit of touching up. There's always going to be some of the need to touch up where we've been. It's never going to get, on occasion it will, but it's very rare that you're going to get a photo where it's clean enough that you can just leave it as is. And as you can see, I'm just painting out some of the background here that I know I don't need. I don't need any of that. And as you can see, it's now changing what it is that it's going to fill inside the area. And I'm just making sure that it changes to a point where I think it looks okay. And at that point there, I don't think that looks too bad as a first stab at the content, getting rid of what we need to get rid of. So what I can do is I can click OK on this here like this, and then I can deselect it, and then from there what I can do is I can select both and then merge those layers together. And now those layers are merged together, I can then go into our system here, and I can select our clone stamp tool, and then I can go through and I can just finely touch up roughly where it's been in order to make it look a little bit more like it should do, basically. So I know that there needs to come down a little bit more, because I think it should do. I think it needs to be a bit more. I think it also needs to be a bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to bring that up like so. That's actually a door there, so let's have that door in. And let's just make this look a little bit more realistic. As I say, it's very, 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 very unlikely that you'll get an image that will immediately look something like, without any kind of finessing or finagling to get it to work. But you can do as best a job as you possibly can, and you can get it to look something like without too much effort by using this particular trick. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that brick there, I'm just going to add in some of these bricks. Finish that line off there like that, because that's obviously coming across. And let's make it a little bit smaller. Just take the line from there as best we can. Chunk. You can see from this preview what you're actually going to be selecting and what is going to be in shot. So let's have that. And then I can bring this in, and then we can start to bring this old brick in here. I'm selecting these at random in order to sort of give it a bit more of a random feel, rather than making everything feel like it's the same. What I also want to do is I want to bring that down there like so. Fetch that in ever so slightly there. Do you know what? because that's part of our building there anyway. We'll leave that where it is. And then as you can see from our photo, we've taken out the man. What we can do here as well is we can just get rid of his shadow while we're there at it. And as you can see, he's now pretty much got rid of that guy, and he's good enough to show. This is obviously a quick tutorial. I'm not going to go into hours and hours and hours of rebuilding this wall. But as you can see from the system used, if you're going up to edit and then into content aware fill, that will narrow down and make content aware fill's job a lot easier, and give you a much better, more accurate result. It's pretty simple to do. It's such a clever and innovative way of taking stuff out of your photos. It makes it so much easier, makes it so much quicker, makes it so much better to do, and so much easier for Photoshop to do, but gets you the result as quickly as you possibly can get. I'm not saying that my example was the best example in the world, but it is an example and it does show you how it actually works. It is a very simple way of doing things, and it's a trick that I've not seen used by very many other people. I don't know anybody else who uses that trick, or uses that feature, or even knows that feature exists. It's just, it's one of those things where you think, why did I not know about that? And I found out about it recently, and I thought I needed to tell other people about it. So that was the reason for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, hope that you got something out of it, and that if you found it useful, if you do, please do like and subscribe below. Smash that bell button, do all the other things, leave a comment, etc, etc. Share the video on your own site, on your own YouTube channel, whatever you want to do. And I will see you guys next time.